Come with me to the side of this bus. You can see the rear left side wheel completely in this huge sinkhole. In the 43rd precinct last year alone, there were nearly 7,000 radio calls related to domestic violence. That's the second highest in the entire city. Right up those stairs behind me is where detectives have been trying to gather every bit of information they can about Bonds to figure out why he left his apartment here yesterday and shot an NYPD officer point blank in the head. Police identified him just 2 days ago, plastering his photo around the University Heights neighborhood and on social media. And tonight, he's on his way to central booking. Yeah, Amanda, 5 kids under 10 years old are at Bronx hospitals right now with minor injuries after this fire. It has been a rough day for people here in Throgs Neck, and one example, take a look behind me. Look at what's going on here. Any other sneak peeks that you can give just the BX people for the rest of the season?
Yo, there's some sketches on the show that you're gonna really like.
Thanks so much for joining us here on News 12 The Bronx. I'm Jessica Cunnington. A Marine and longtime member of the FDNY here in the Bronx was killed while serving in Afghanistan.
Exactly 1 month ago, the deadliest fire in more than 25 years here in New York City broke out on Prospect Avenue in the Bronx. 13 people died and the entire building was destroyed. You're about to hear from a Bronx woman who lost her baby and mother in that fire. Christine Baptiste spoke only with News 12 Jessica Cunnington. She has this exclusive story.
It's gloomy. The sun could be as bright as it can be, and it doesn't feel the same. I've been here since I was born, and
it used to be home.
The smell lingers. The stuff I took out from there is still in my house. The smell doesn't leave.
And now it haunts her.
It's just really hard.
Back at 2363 Prospect Avenue, Christine Baptiste is speaking out for the first time exclusively to News 12.
To just know they spent their last moments in theirs.
Christine lived on the 3rd floor with her mom, Maria, and her 7.5-month-old daughter, Amora Serenity Vidal. On December 28th, her mother was babysitting little Amora while Christine was at work.
At that day, I had built a walker for her. My mom sent me pictures of her playing with it.
This photo taken just hours before the fire broke out. Then came the call.
She had my daughter in her arms and she told me, that they were gonna die. And to know that I couldn't help her, it hurts me.
And just like that, it takes her back.
I felt useless.
Maria and Amora died in the bathtub, trying to hide from the fire and smoke. She says support from loved ones, Bronxites, and people from all over have gotten her through the past month. But her strength?
My mother's strength, that's number one. She lives through me.
Her first and only child taken before she could even walk.
I would never have imagined in a million years that I would be here talking about the death of my child. I should have brought that to her grave.
The memorial for little Amora and Maria is still at the corner of Prospect Avenue and 187th.
Oh, God bless.
Neighbors still stopping by to pay their respects. As much as Christine wishes this fire never happened, she does want to help educate with simple reminders.
Make sure your alarms work, alert people, and just knock on people's doors.
Soon there won't be a reason to walk down this block anymore. The building will be closed for construction. The candles will be gone. But Maria and Amora will live on.
Never take anything for granted, because it can all be taken away in a matter of seconds.
Most importantly, in Christine's heart. Jessica Cunnington, News 12. 3 days later, the remnants of what happened here still wrapped around trees, seen down on the sidewalk, and burned into neighbors' minds.
A lot of blood, oh my God, on the head. Oh my God.
Angel Reyes Godoy's face peeking out from telephone poles up and down Bainbridge Avenue from 194th to 196th Street. Marcia Hernandez watched him grow up the past 10 years in their building.
I can't sleep for today because I remember him,
The NYPD now saying 17-year-old Reyes Godoy was in an argument with 2 Trinitarios gang members. When they shoved him into oncoming traffic, he was hit by an ambulette van and he died right in the street.
We have Trinitarios gang members, some of the same set that was mentioned in the earlier Junior Guzman case involved in the incident.
Chief Shea also saying it seems Reyes Godoy was involved in the gang at some point.
Certainly a lot of information indicating that he was involved with the Trinitarios, yes. He was not at the time of the incident occurring in our criminal group database.
Reyes Godoy lived right down the block from where police say he was killed. He lived on the 4th floor of 2734 Bainbridge Avenue. Juana lives right below him.
And he say hi, and he helped me with the baby and everything. He's a good guy. He was.
People continuing to stop by the memorial on Wednesday, some with their kids, to take a moment and read the messages. Hernandez says she's thankful these posters are here.
I want to remember Angel like that, smile like that, you know.
Should I take a picture of you?
Yes. She hasn't always been like this. Glued to her camera.
I'd be like, no, I don't want to be in the way of anybody. And now I'm like, excuse me, I have a photo to take, something to film.
Last March, Ariana Rivera says she went to an event where she was inspired by so many young Bronx creatives.
Oh, there you go.
Which made her want to get out there more.
And the more I did it, the more I gained confidence in myself. And the more I realized, like, okay, this camera can do a lot for the Bronx. You can do a lot for the Bronx.
Documenting the change happening in the Bronx and the people who inspire her.
I feel like everyone in the Bronx is just so beautiful. And it's like, you just have to know where to look.
Almost exactly 1 year later, dreams already coming true. Rivera's looking up at her photos framed and hanging on the walls of the Boogie Down Grind Cafe for her first solo show.
I feel like you see stories here.
The curator at the Hunts Point coffee shop choosing Rivera to show her work in honor of Women's History Month.
I'm fiery and opinionated because I'm a woman from the Bronx, you know? Like, you have to walk around and you have to have opinions and you have to fight for yourself here. When I'm taking my photos, I think that's just like me expressing myself.
Every photo showing her unconditional love for the borough that raised her.
I love that it's so vibrant because like the Bronx might seem so grungy.
And with a newfound confidence in her work and her purpose,
just don't stop. Keep going.
She continues to capture those BX moments.
Got me? You got me?
I got you.
In Hunts Point, Jessica Cunnington.
Now I'm gonna take your picture.
News 12, The Bronx.
Let's go.
We're sitting there watching, and the gentleman seems very calm.
It's late Thursday night in the waiting room at NYC Health and Hospital's Jacoby's ER. News 12 obtaining this exclusive video showing at least 7 hospital officers, not NYPD, surrounding one man seen sitting down.
It was shock. It was surprising to us. We were just like, what do we do now?
Bharati Kamraj was also in the emergency room waiting area with her brother, who needed to be seen. She says the man seen here was quietly drinking coffee, had went up to the nurses a couple of times, and eventually took off his shoes as they all waited at least 2 hours. Kamraj saying this hospital officer, facing away from the camera, used his baton and hit the man before calling for backup when the rest of them showed up. That officer, she says, was demanding to know whether he had been registered or not.
Within a minute or two, it got serious to where there were more individuals needed for one person who didn't seem to be unstable, who wasn't yelling, who wasn't using a bad language.
I'm already hot from something else. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Another officer seen hitting the wall there, bending down to shout in the man's face. All before Kamraj says the officers dragged the man out.
The individual I'm hearing was homeless, and regardless homeless or not, nobody should be treated like that in an emergency room.
Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez was shocked by this video and said she immediately reached out to the captain of the 49th precinct and to the CEO of Health and Hospitals Jacoby.
We've discussed expanding training into how to better approach and treat patients in the hospital.
The biggest concern here, they say, is that hospitals should be safe havens.
When you go to the hospital, you're going there for help, and you expect to receive help.
We were there because we needed some help. He was there because he needed help, and so were all the other individuals that were in an ER.
Health and Hospitals officials tell us one of the officers seen in that video has already been suspended pending review, and more officers could face discipline as well as their investigation continues. We're also told by a source hospital officials are trying to figure out who the man in that video is so they can see if he's still seeking medical help. From Pelham Parkway South, I'm Jessica Cunnington. Back to you.